Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I am your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in and making GPS a part of your afternoon. So, first and foremost, we want to give thanks and praise to the Most High for the most part, sparing the Bahamas from significant damage as it relates to the passage of Nicole. Thank God there, compared to storms in the past, this one was not as bad as, it could have been. So we thank God for his mercies as it relates to that. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Those of you who did experience any kind of damage from flooding, etc., we are sorry, that you're going through this again, but it could have been so much worse. So thank God for that. So today, we spent the last 2 days dealing with Nicole. So today we're getting back to business as usual. And I want you to bring my guest into the stream, please, Jason. The big news right now is what's going on with FTX and Binance. For those of you who are not familiar with what I'm talking about, you may have heard all of this big announcement months ago about FTX choosing the Bahamas to be its home base. And I mean, they came in with such a big bang and, throwing money here, there, and everywhere. And, looking real good, Seattle. They had me a little excited, man. They didn't give me no money, but, I guess I didn't qualify. And then we wake up to news that FTX was having some kind of financial trouble and was asking its chief rival, Binance, to bail it out. And we got word that Binance said, okay, Binance was their first and their last, I don't know if investor is the right word. But
yes, it was. That's very important. That is very, very important to the story.
What?
He was the first investor is now going to be the last investor. It's
first and last investor. Yeah. So Binance was going to bail them out. And then the bombshell announcement from Binance via Twitter that they don't want to be a part of this deal anymore. And I am paraphrasing because they have discovered that there are some
black holes.
Well, some irregularities as it relates to how investor money was spent or how client money was spent.
It's handled is the best way. They don't.
Huh?
How this
Okay, how client funds were handled by FTX. And so Binance say, we ain't want to get mixed up in that. So Binance has announced that they are not going to bail FTX out. Now, Seattle is here because he understands this more than anybody I know. He could break this down, how this whole system works. And more specifically, we are going to talk about what that means for the Bahamas. Now, you may say, well, Michelle, I don't understand the big deal. Why are you trying to tie this into the Bahamas? Well, we got a little bit of a problem. Because the whole big splash about FTX choosing the Bahamas as its home means that we are now caught up in the middle of this.
we are now the regulators for the time he's been here, who should have been making him to be in compliance.
Exactly. So now the big question is, what does this mean for the Bahamas? But before we get to that question, we have to explain to them what actually happened. And C. Allen Johnson, welcome back to GPS. For those who aren't familiar with this whole world of cryptocurrency, Binance is the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange. And the exchange, like the stock exchange where stocks are traded, cryptocurrency exchange is where cryptocurrencies are traded. So Binance is the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange. And FTX was a competitor of Binance. Okay? And it's go ahead.
The FTX was a child of Binance.
They call themselves a competitor.
And that's what they evolved to. That's why the statement of them being the first and the last is important.
Okay. So FTX is owned by billionaire Sam Bankman-Fried. He was the fellow who was walking around, and they had the press conference here and the big conference that they had here that was by invitation only. He show up, everybody will show up in suit and tie, and he show up in shorts and sneakers. Yeah,
the SALT convention.
Yeah. Right. That's the curly hair fella. That is billionaire Sam Bankman-Fried. Okay. So he has now filed reportedly for bankruptcy, according to many sources, because they find themselves in a position now.
This is what in the Bahamas, in the other parts of the world. I know some professionals will say they're filing for bankruptcy in the Bahamas, but he's not necessarily filing here. He's actually seeking bankruptcy protection, which is different than the Bahamas being declared outright bankrupt.
So what does that mean? Does that mean that people wouldn't have access to his money?
It does. What it does is there's, like in the U.S., there's about 3 or 4 different versions of bankrupt. There's straight out bankruptcy. There's Chapter 7 where you ask for protection, and then dissolving. There's Chapter 11 where you ask for ability to reorganize and pay your debtors. I think there's Chapter 12 or something else. There's a lot of variations of bankruptcy, but it's almost like, how do people say, speak of the house, protect me? You're saying, protect me. I have the resources to pay these people back, just not in the manner for which they have, or for the court to determine. Remember now, I could owe you $1 million, but the $1 million can be principal, interest, and fees. And in essence, the court will protect the principal. So when I ask for this bankruptcy protection, they would find out how I could restore you to as much of the principal that has been done, including what I've made paid for interest and everything else. So this is not here in the Bahamas where you pay or you're totally bankrupt. And so I know we have commentaries here in the Bahamas where people saying what the bankruptcy laws in the Bahamas says. And the argument is, would he choose to claim he was docile here to be protected under the bankruptcy laws, where they'll seize everything he have like they do Bahama. But the problem is that probably 99% of his assets is in digital space, which brings us back to Binance. Binance, though they may have offices around the world, in a smaller sense, Binance exists in no country. No country. They are purely a digital company. And so when you look at these digital assets, the value that SPF, Sam Bankman-Fried, I use the word FBS, and CZ for the Zhao guy. His assets, most of his wealth was in digital assets. Or probably 95% of everything that he owned was in digital assets. That's why when FTX was basically declared illiquid, 94% of his wealth disappeared in 24 hours, breaking the world record.
But we ain't talking a little bit of wealth, though. So is he really broke?
No, now I'm going to come back and explain to you. Let me go back to the beginning on how FTX was born, because I'm going to come back to you. And a lot of people who knows that I do digital consultancy, I'm talking about these talking heads who run around here and buy a fraction of a share, because if Bitcoin was selling for $70,000 and you invested $1,000, please don't tell anybody you're into Bitcoin. That's like saying you buy a Microsoft share and you're into technology. Stop telling people that, okay? You're joking. You don't even own a full half a share, a fraction of a share. And we have a lot of people running around the Bahamas calling themselves Bitcoin experts that can't set up a mining machine or anything. And this is the problem we have. We have this country full of pseudo intellectuals. That's why nobody saw this coming. The record will reflect, and I think on this shows and other shows, I said from the beginning, from the time we passed the DARE bill, that this is going to end badly.
And we're going to talk about the DARE bill, but
just let me say right now, for any reporter or sensible person listen to this, the DARE bill is a gateway for money launderers, traffickers, terrorists, fraudsters, and the likes. And I challenge, don't hide and say I'm wrong. If you're an expert in financial services, I dare you to call me out on this in the public.
No pun intended.
Okay? I'm saying to you, fraudsters, money launderers, terrorists, and the likes. That's what the DARE bill is for.
So based on that description,
in its current format.
So based on what you just said, which category you put FTX under?
Scammer. I got that off the list.
Now explain.
It could be moving to fraudster zone.
Okay, so explain to our audience and make it understandable by a 6-year-old. What is FTX, how it came to be, etc. Tell us the backstory.
FTX is nothing, it's just like the BISX we have. An exchange. You want to buy shares or stocks, and so you have money, somebody has shares, you buy the shares, and they become as an intermediary. Technically, BISX act as a referee to make sure that what you're getting is what you're paid for. Okay? And the rules that they said when you invested in this company, that they would abide by those rules. FTX is the same thing except for digital currencies. Please, let's stop using the word digital assets. The word digital assets is audio, video, papers, intellectual property, all of those different things. And that's when I heard the DARE bill being a digital assets registration, right? Mm-hmm. That's why I thought the DARE bill was a data bill, because these things are nothing more than data. People heard me talk about the data economy. When it's converted to digital, it becomes data. And so I thought the digital assets bill was basically a form of registering all form of digital assets in the Bahamas, not just exclusively cryptocurrencies and the like. So now, that's we know what the exchange was. And so Binance and Coinbase and all the rest of these other exchanges, they're nothing more than exchanges for two people intermediaries. Here's what happens. You do not need an exchange to deal in cryptocurrencies. You have what is called a digital wallet for which you keep your coins in. Mm-hmm. I have a digital wallet that I keep my coins in. Here's the problem. When we began to move to the position that cryptocurrencies could be traded for fiat, remember now, cryptocurrencies was a replacement for fiat. Mm-hmm. But somewhere we got lost in the translation, and cryptocurrency became a register for fiat.
Now, explain for those who aren't knowledgeable what fiat is.
cryptocurrency was supposed to just be a new currency that was invented and add value. We exchange each other for services and products.
Fiat is the hard paper money,
Yeah,
or
fiat is the money, right? And this cryptocurrency is supposed to be replacement for real money. Let's call it real money as we call it.
mm-hmm.
Except, and then the real money is supposed to still exist. Visa card, MasterCard, cash, and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And so next thing you know, somehow the rules got flipped. And at one time, you used to say this cryptocurrency was the equivalent of having this much in fiat. You could not use fiat to get it. That's when people, somehow we got corrupted and people start exchanging, saying, I don't want to mine, I don't want to do whatever. Let me give you my money and you give me that equivalent in Bitcoin. And technically, you couldn't buy fractions of a Bitcoin in the earlier days. You had to buy a full Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And so as Bitcoin began to rise, they came up with this Susachi or whatever the other name is. I really don't pay attention to the sub of this of something that's fake, okay? Because Bitcoin to me is the absolute proof of the greater fool theory. Remember, I come back to that. Going back on this, so what happens is you have this fractions of Bitcoins that you now say I could have $50, $100, $200 worth. Somehow we get contaminated with that. Now, if you had a wallet, you could not have fractionals in the wallet. You couldn't send me a half a Bitcoin or a piece of Bitcoin. This is where these exchanges came in. But before we even started subdividing Bitcoins or digital currencies, what we did, because remember now, you used to have hundreds of these just equal $1. Now you have one equals 70,000, 15,000, 20,000, 50, like that. But before, if you wanted to give me $100, you may have to give me 200 Bitcoins. Today, that'd be like giving me $15 million.
Graham has sent a bunch of messages to my private phone that I can't pick up right now. So Graham, call me, please.
Tell Graham, don't message.
3260271, 3260271, 3260272.
Or if you want to,
the banner with the numbers and contacts.
Hey, Graham, if you got courage, ask for the link and sit in the show. So
let me see if I can forward this to Graham. Graham, is that you, Graham, on the phone?
Yeah.
Are you able to log into the show if I send you the StreamYard link? Or you ain't got time for that today?
I'm actually moving around, so it won't work.
All right. Okay.
I don't want to be on my phone and driving because that would be evidence against me.
Understood. So
but
go ahead.
C. Allen is correct, and there's been a lot of people that have been talking about this and in the space, and I'll give it credit where it's due. C. Allen's been talking about laws in the digital realm forever, and no one's listened. And so now we find a conundrum that if we had listened to C. Allen, the laws would have been in place and it would have been much less of a serious issue. But you have a prime minister, a president, and probably one of the biggest sportsmen in the world that
Tom Brady, that
are here today. I didn't want to call names, that are here today, and they were here, and I don't know what the ticket was, $4,000, some elite, 5,000, some elite meeting. Why couldn't the average grassroots be invited for free so that C. Allen and other Bahamian experts could have lectured as well as the foreigners, and then we could have made a decision on what we wanted to do in our country? Because you put C. Allen, Wayne, me, and there's a bunch of other people in the room, and you say, listen, what could we have done in this digital space? Now, El Salvador said, hey, the whole country takes Bitcoin. And so he bought a lot of it, and he's got a dip today. But I look at things even deeper, C. Allen. Watch this, Michelle. If you can't do inside trading in the paper money world on the New York Stock Exchange, you go to jail. Like, was it Madoff? Whatever his name was. So, but in the crypto space, it's not the same regulations. But C. Allen's been fighting for him. I give him credit. And what if you knew, I'm not talking about any name or company, what if you knew tomorrow that something was going to happen that you may have control over, and it would cause a crypto, say Bitcoin, because it was one of the bigger, to fall by $3,000, $4,000, Michelle. And you yourself and others knew this was going to happen, and you rushed out when it fell to $15,000, and you bought a lot billions of dollars worth of it.
Mhm.
And by this morning, overnight, it went from 15,000 value to 17,000. Now, see, Alan may be correct. Bitcoin's garbage, whatever, right? But it's supply and demand. It could be anything. It could be oranges, lettuce. In this case, it just happens to be an imaginary money, right?
Mhm.
But somebody today, overnight, made $2,000 for each one of these coins. What if they bought 10 of them, 100 of them, $1 billion worth?
Mhm.
See, no one's ever going to know because, like Sion says, this is in a space that's not regulated and it's kind of hard to trace. So I'm asking, did any inside trading go on?
It did.
Yes, of course, C. Allen, and this is the level of debate I want to have.
But see, you're not the only one asking questions because several news sites are reporting that the United States Securities and Exchange Commission is now looking into the inner workings of FTX in light of all of these.
Well, we have a Security and Exchange Commission. Where they at? I thought they would have spoke way before the U.S. said, eh? Because it happened here.
You would think so.
Yes, why they all low and not talking?
Okay, but Graham, let me just say, right? Money is made in the cryptocurrency space with the creation of money, not the selling of it, right? And this is how I'm going to explain right now how SBF became a billionaire overnight. And if I wanted to, today or even yesterday, Michelle and I could be billionaires within the next 72 hours.
We should have done that as a country, but legally.
Right. I'm saying to you, that's where the smoke and mirrors comes in. The problem is that you consider that 99.5% or 99.8% of every cryptocurrency in the world is fake. Okay? So you have about 12,000 cryptocurrency in existence today, and less than 5 of them is real. Okay? When I say real, that can substantiate itself. Everybody else is chasing fantasies about they got this coin name, this name, and that name, and whatever else.
Probably only 2 are good.
What makes one real as opposed to, according to your definition, fantasy?
Because it is actually it's built on an infrastructure.
In other words,
mining
something.
Yeah. Okay, let me just use an example, like Ethereum. Everybody likes to talk about Ethereum. I think Ethereum is garbage. You know why? It's not centralized. It's the number 2 coin, but it's controlled by about 5 to 7 people who at any given time can change the rules by which it's governed by. That's not
100% correct, Alan. And that's why people leaned more towards Bitcoin because of its ecosystem.
Right, but see again, Graham, I don't want to convolute the things, right?
Yeah.
Because you're a Bitcoin believer, and Michelle, let me give a story I did on your show before. This is how if you want to understand Bitcoin in 2 minutes, let me give you a story. A man went into town that was inhabited by thousands of monkeys, wild monkeys. He said to the villagers, I'll pay $100 for every single monkey that y'all catch and bring to me. The villagers look at him as he's crazy. A couple of the people decided to catch the monkeys anyway and took it to him. He paid them $100. The next week, he said, I'm going to pay $200 for every monkey. They all went on and started catching monkeys. The week after, he said, I'm going to pay $300 for every monkeys. They kept catching monkeys. The monkeys become less and less. And sooner or later, he started saying to them, I'm going to pay $500 for every monkey. Guess what? There was practically no monkeys left. So the man says, seem like y'all can't catch any more monkeys. Here's what I will do. I'm going to go to town for 2 weeks. I'm going to leave my son in charge. And every monkey that y'all catch, when I come back, I'll buy from you for $1,500. Mind you, done bought monkeys for $1, $2, $3, $4, and $500. So the people went out into the bushes and they couldn't find any monkey. While the man was out of town, his son went into the town and said to the people, look, my father is eccentric. He's crazy. He won't know any difference. Let me sell you these monkeys I have for $1,000 each. And when he come back, you all sell it to him for $1,500. The people went and bought the monkeys back from the son that they had sold it to him for $500. They bought it back from him for $1,000. They went and pawned their jewelry, pawned their houses, cars, and everything so they could buy these monkeys from the son. So after they have all these monkeys, feed the monkeys, taking care of it, waiting for the father to come back. About 3 weeks later, they went to the store to find it from the son when the father's coming back, and they found that the store was boarded up. And the son was also gone. And they had the monkeys that they sold they bought for 1, 2, 3, 4, 500, and they bought back for 1,000. And the father and son were sailing the seas, enjoying the wealth they created. That's Bitcoin.
And what happens to fiat currency? Isn't it inflated similarly?
No, but again, if you want to have a conversation about fiat, see, Graham, that is a convoluted argument that you Bitcoinists talk about. Fiat has been around almost for thousands of years. We're talking about something that is backed by not only good faith, but we talk about fiat being backed by gold, silver, oil, whatever.
How did fiat start?
Graham, I don't want to convolute, Graham. I don't want to convolute, Graham.
I don't want to get bogged down. And
no, that's what I'm saying. I want, Graham, if you want to have a sensible conversation, do not talk about currencies if you don't know it. I do. I was in banking. Okay? The money is backed by the good faith of the United States government, whether it be petrodollars and other things, and the ability to pay, borrow, and everything. I understand these talking points that individuals make all over town. Today, I want to have a sensible conversation. Bitcoin has no intrinsic value except for the good faith of someone else willing to buy it from you. Bannerman Bailey would be happy today that his theory is being proved. A sucker is born every day.
So let's bring this back to...
Doesn't everything work? Everything works on supply and demand. And how much gold do we have backing the dollars?
See,
so let's gentlemen, let's bring this back to what we're supposed to be talking about today.
And I'm saying this. I don't want Graham to begin to use the convolution and conflation. What about this? What about this? What about this? I ain't in for that. We talk about Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies.
Okay.
Do not justify your position by saying, well, I could have put my money over here and lose it the same way.
So I've got to run, right? But today, Bitcoin still has a value, yes?
As long as there's suckers being born.
Even though one of the banks or exchanges may close, who knows what this one will do, right?
A number of them
Binance will still exist and Bitcoin will still have its value, correct?
Even if it's $1, it'll still have a value.
Yeah, and I begged in 2016, Michelle, for us to use our son to run the computing hardware to get us the crypto, Bitcoin, for free, using our son, carbon neutral crypto mining. We didn't do it.
It's not free.
So we wouldn't have had to worry about an exchange or any values.
Graham, I wish you guys would stop telling people that you get it for free. If you have to spend $10,000 for a mining card, it's not free. What you do is you say you can generate a net positive whatever. See, these dumbing down of our Bahamian people must stop. This is why FTX and others were able to come in here, because people, Graham, with all due respect like you, cause people to become disassociated from the reality. It is okay to buy and sell Bitcoin because, like you say, if I could sell dehydrated water, where you buy this can from me and you only need to add a gallon of water, and you'll have a gallon of my water, I would. But please don't tell me that the dehydrated water I'm selling you is water.
But see, Alan, when we talk at a pseudo-intellectual level, we're misunderstood. And that's where I had to...
When you talk at a pseudo-intellectual level, you mislead people. I want you to talk at an intellectual level.
Oh, okay. Well, it is what it is. We missed an opportunity. It still exists to do carbon neutral crypto. And I'm hoping we're in COP27 talking about it. But Michelle, yeah, I don't know. I think what we should have done is when anybody comes to our country talking, we should say, show me the money. You should have some fixed assets.
You can show the money. And if we get back to this FTX, where I can show you where there was no money, and the laws of the Bahamas says that they were supposed to have verified there were money and assets. But then how do you ask for a law to verify an asset that does not exist?
Or is in a realm that isn't fiat?
Well, okay. We have to take a break. We have to take a break.
I'm going to head out, Michelle. Good show, though, Michelle and Cial, and you're on point.
Thank you for calling in, Graham.
Yep.
All right, let's take this break because I think we sort of got distracted.
That is what Graham, with all due respect, that's what Graham and others are good for. To engage the same intellectual in a disorder. I don't want to have disorder. I want to tell the people the truth and what the possibilities are, not the fantasies that they bought in, because we can use blockchain, tokenization, and everything else, not in the garbage that is being sold to them by the pseudo-intellectuals. I want to have an intellectual conversation.
All right, let's do that on the other side of this break, though. Stay with us. This is GPS. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Glasses love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company. My guest today is C. Alan Johnson. We are talking about this conundrum that FTX finds itself in after Binance said, no deal, we're not going to bail you out, based on information that we now have access to that shows that you guys may not have been good stewards over your clients' funds. So now FTX finds itself in a position where it is reportedly filing for bankruptcy. And because this is a company that is registered in the Bahamas and supposedly regulated in the Bahamas, it throws the Bahamas now in the middle of this debate. What does that mean for our country, our reputation, our economy? What are the implications? The telephone numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line for text messages only 8010271, 8010271. My guest today is C. Allen Johnson. All right, C. Allen, before
Yes, get back on
Graham
track.
got in, yeah, we
Let,
need
let,
to talk about the
let me
form.
just,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
I just want to say is that we are in a very precarious situation in the country.
Mm-hmm.
This is not no time for intellectual masturbation because you are the one-eyed midget in the line of blind giants for you to mislead them as if though that you know what you're talking about. I just want people to know this is not something I discovered, that I've Googled and I've had. This is something where I was there at the birth. I was there. I've been in technology now for 45 years, and I'm only approaching 60, 45 plus years. This is not every single day, 12 hours or more per day, 7 days a week for 45 years. This is
So
not yes.
let me ask you something. Prior to coming to the Bahamas to establish its headquarters and make the Bahamas its home, FTX was operating out of Singapore, correct?
Yes. Let me go back to the beginning. Uh, 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 SBF, like Sam Bankman for SBF.
Mm-hmm.
He entered into the crypto market. He saw an opportunity. He was examining it. He decides he's a newbie to this to this industry. However, he was in financial services or banking or something else of that sort as a consultant and as a tech person. What he saw was an opportunity, something that was happening called arbitrage. Arbitrage is the unbalancing of two separate markets. For instance, without going to Bitcoin, let's say in China, at 8 o'clock this morning, a share is selling in China for $8, and the same share is selling in the US for 10. What arbitrage does, it allows you to buy that share in China and transfer it to me in the US, and I keep the $2 in between. What he saw when he examined Bitcoin, he saw this arbitrage in the marketplace where Bitcoin was selling for lower prices than it was in certain markets.
Mm-hmm.
So he went to this person called what is his name? Chao Peng Zhao. They call it CZ. He
Mm-hmm.
went to him and sought out assistance. And Alameda, Alameda, this research, which is owned by SBF, by Sam Bankman-Fried, that company was set up as a consultancy, and that's where he made his initial monies.
Okay.
That company still exists.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, he saw the opportunity, and you could wonder assume that he was using the Binance. Binance existed before FTX, so this is where the exchange was. So he saw the opportunity to set up his own exchange to do a whole host of different things. The first investor, this is why that is important, the first investor in FTX, the funder, the person who provided the money, other than Alameda that he was in, that SPF owned, was CZ. He put up the money to start FTX. That's the first investor. That's why he says the first investor will be the last. Jumping to the back, when he decided that he wanted that CZ was going to buy FTX to save it, he says, "Isn't it funny? The first investor will be the last investor because he was going to buy it and do it." That's where that statement comes from. So now we go back to it. So FTX is set up and functioning as an exchange. This somewhere along the line, this is where the error happens, the fraud, call it whatever you want. Sam Bankman-Fried, FBF, created a coin called FTT, an FTX coin. Mind you, other exchange has the same coin. It's almost like a utility coin that allows you to do certain things without throwing your your Bitcoin or your Ether or your Solage or whatever they call it around the exchange, having to move it around. So this was a utility coin. Essentially, if you look from the surface, this is how what he and Carolyn Ellison did. Carolyn Ellison is who stayed behind to be Alameda CEO. Now this goes to how you and I become billionaires. We start two companies, Alameda and FTX.
Mm-hmm.
Let's call one Michelle and call the other one Alan.
Right.
Alan creates this coin and he makes $20 billion worth of coins at $100 each. He didn't mint them, he didn't mine them, he created them. Then what he does, he sells them. I take the $20 billion worth of coins I have, and I sell 8 billion of them to Michelle at $100 each. And what I do then is Michelle doesn't have $8 billion, so she gives me a promissory note to pay me, that she'll pay me for them. I then go around now saying, look, my coin, Critical Thinker is the name of the coin, is selling for $100. And people go, holy cow, $8 billion of it has been sold and whatever else. And they get all excited and they start buying other coins, which then cost tens of millions of real money to flow in for this coin.
Mm-hmm.
So now, because I own the other $10 billion worth of coin, remember I only sold her $8 billion, I still have $12 billion worth of the coin.
Right.
I now say this coin is worth $100 or more. And so I now declare myself a billionaire, even though I have no real money, but I say the coins I have represents $12 billion worth of dollars. So I declare myself, I'm now a billionaire. And because the coins are selling on the market for $100, no matter what small amount, anybody will look at the total amount of coins I have and say, wow, see, Alan Johnson is a billionaire. That's FBF. The FTT coin, he was a billionaire on a coin, using a coin he created. This was with myself and other smart people around the world, a very small amount of us who did not buy into the hype, who could see through the veil. We were like the Allison, like how you say the Wizard of Oz, we could see behind the curtain. The Oz, we said, look, this ain't real. But we saw such a small of us compared to the million of people, like those in the Bahamas who claim Bitcoin is the new replacing the trillions of dollars in the world.
But he got some really influential players in the financial industry
they know
to buy into this.
They know as much as the guy in Baintown in the front of the liquor store. What they were compensated appearances and compensated endorsers. You know, like we have some stars right now being hit by the SEC. Right now, paying back millions of dollars in fines equal to what they got to endorse the same type of garbage coins. Remember, I said to you, 99.8% of all the 12,000 coins in the world is fake. Okay, fake. They were never mined anywhere. They were minted and sold through hype. We could do this right now. If I was a fraudster, I would have made $1 million knowing what I know about cryptocurrency. Okay? All I would do is say, just what Sam did, FBS did. These coins are not for sale in the US. Because if I sell them in the US, I'll go to prison. So I will sell them to anybody except you guys in the US. Check it out. So I can create a coin. And then this is why you have Binance have places in countries. And so the same thing with FTX. They have offices around the world. That's why the FTX, the 95% of all the FTXs around the world is going to be bankrupt. The 5% of FTX that will be preserved is the 5% that's in the US, FTX US, because it had to follow rules.
Regulations.
There you go. Which brings us to the Bahamas.
Okay, that brings me to my next question, because what I had asked you earlier is FTX was headquartered in Singapore before it made the move to the Bahamas. Why do you believe it packed up house in Singapore and decided of all the nations in the world to choose the Bahamas as its new home?
How the guy, remember the movies just say, you're the weakest link.
All righty then. Explain, please.
Because in every jurisdiction you go to, the Bahamas made a generic digital asset bill. And so, and they tried to, what they did was in the Bahamas, with all due respect, we like to talk things into existence. I tell you, if there's a world war, I hope they use talk, because we're going to be the super world power, because we can talk them to death. We'll bomb Russia with talk. We like to talk things into existence. A national development plan is a catalog of talking points. Everything is talking. There's no strategy published anywhere. Our policy in the Bahamas, there's no written policy anywhere. It's talk. Okay? There's one thing we've mastered in the Bahamas is talk, talk, talk. This is why we get flammed by better talkers than us. Okay? So he was looking for a jurisdiction that he could be docile in and service as many other jurisdictions that does not have regulations without having to set up a location in each one of those. And every time you found an FTX in another country, I think Brazil and other places they open up, it was because they had to meet that country's regulation to offer cryptocurrencies and tokens in that country. So all the other countries, let's say he's in 6 different places out of the 202 countries, the other 190 countries, 195 countries, he could operate and offer his services in those countries from the Bahamas, because he could simply say, look, I'm regulated by the Bahamian government, and they are credible people in the financial service space. So he took our brand, wrapped it around him, and said, look, I'm now credible. And then he started promoting to everybody else, saying, this is the most credible regulation that I have found in the world. Notice he said that. But how is it that his regulation, our regulation, so credible, failed the whole world, but the U.S. owned protected their 5%?
All right, we have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Malcolm.
Hi.
Okay, Kareem Antili, I called a few times. You may be familiar with me calling. This time I want to call because we've been talking about this cryptocurrency, the FTX chaos. The Bahamas did not get caught up in this at the end of the day. What happened was when Mr. Brave came into power, his entire focus shifted to helping a foreign currency over our Bahamian digital dollar. And that's where they went wrong. The SAN dollar was far superior than the cryptocurrency, and we all know this. But they neglected to build the infrastructure out for SAN dollar to be viable in a time like this and to be able to help build our economy. They decided to use taxpayers' money to go to conferences all over the world to talk about cryptocurrency versus SAN dollar.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
SAN dollar is a currency, a digital currency that may or may not use crypto. Crypto is a protection scheme. Let me repeat.
Well, I agree.
Let me point. I want people to understand, because SAN dollar and crypto is like talking about fire and water. They're not the same. They're not even
my point is, my government came in, even after the advice of myself, on public forums. Every public live that they did, go and go. Everyone who went on live and talked about this cryptocurrency, as some say, I told them, I talked to them like a dog. I told them, no, push your efforts in SAN dollar because
Hans, you are wrong. Let me explain to you. Have you ever used a credit card? Let me ask you a question. Have you ever used a debit card?
Obviously.
Then a SAN dollar is a debit card. Please. The difference is...
listen to what I'm saying to you, Mr.
No, let me make my point. I want you to discount it.
Okay.
The Bahamian dollar has no value. The Bahamian dollar is an exchange note. It has no value outside of the Bahamas. None. A SAN dollar is nothing more than a digital representation of the dollar, a exchange note. You don't need a SAN dollar. Hold on my point. If you have a debit card, you don't need a signed dollar. If you have a Visa card, you don't need a signed dollar card. So my point is,
That's why, okay? Because I don't want to argue with you. What I'm saying to you is the point was our company, our prime minister used resources to push behind a digital currency that was not owned by us. We have a digital currency with the power to be exchanged globally if our company...
No, you do not. You do not. Stop it.
Let me finish.
If you can't take the Bahamian dollar to Miami or Jamaica or whatever, and how do you take the digital one? How do you take the digital one?
Let me finish. Hold on.
Let him finish his point, C. Allen, and then you can respond.
By Jesus, Mr. C. Allen, you older than me, I'm 40, brother. I let you talk.
No.
C. Allen, let him
ignorant. It's not a reason to be ignorant.
Let him make his point, and then you respond. Go ahead, caller.
In the current scheme of things, the way that foreign exchange set up and the way that we did our business, our governments did not push to have the Bahamas dollar as an exchange product. But we're not talking global movement. We're talking domestic movement.
Why are you saying these things is not true?
Could I finish? The sound dollar on the domestic market could aid and support in building the domestic market. Yes, we would at some point have to convert sand dollar to fiat to then international currency to use. Then you will hold on, let me finish, Daddy, and then you would be able to have to pay only on exchange rate interest to convert sand dollar from fiat to now international currency to spend globally. But what I'm saying to you is sand dollar is far protective and secure because it's backed by the central bank. When you talk about exchange our dollar as an exchange commodity on the global market, that's because the Bahamas government or central bank has never positioned the country to see their currency as a world trade product. But that does not take the fact that the sand dollar, which is a digital currency for me who don't want cash and will use sand dollar and be able to now spend sand dollar domestically to make purchases, because don't our country accept Bahamian dollar fiat?
Okay, caller.
Thank you so much. I wish we had a little thing, the little buttons. Remember I used to work inside of the station, Michelle, in Zedness. We used to be able to roll back the tape. I wish we could have rolled this back and just delete that. That's pure garbage what he said. Pure garbage.
Why?
Because he's confused. Listen to me. The sand dollar and you have the dollar you hold in your hand and the 4 quarters you hold in your hand, the Visa card and the MasterCard is the exact same thing. The Visa and MasterCard is a digital representation of the dollar, except it may be credit or directly debit from your account. The sand dollar is the same. The difference is the sand dollar resides in the central bank. We're going to have a show on why I think Bahamians should reject the sand dollar because it's a control currency. In fact, the government of the Bahamas could decide could say to you, once you have your wallet, you can't buy cigarettes, you can't buy only but this form of rice, you can't buy Kool-Aid or whatever they could say thing. And until we build some protection into the sand dollar is a control currency. I would tell people it is supposed to have been a good idea to start for the unbanked. For those individuals who can't afford to put money in, you just have it in your digital wallet, in your phone, or whatever else, and now it gives them the ability to use places and receive money and send money. But it's a dangerous thing in the hand of a government that you can't trust. Let me say this to you, and I want the sand dollar people to come and tell me I am wrong. I don't want these people like Handshell and Resident. Please, these digital experts from Google and confuse me, man. Just look, man, please just delete everything he said. It is pure garbage. The same way the Bahamian dollar cannot be a global currency, converting it to digital don't make it so. Period. You have to understand monetary policy to understand what these things are. This is where we have so much people in this country to just talk that have no clue. These people didn't even know what a computer was 6 years ago. Now they can tell you everything. They can tell me. You can imagine that you go to the man who designed something and you tell him what it is. You're real. Look, man, let's get back on cue. Don't confuse a central bank depository coin, CBDC, with any digital currency. It's a digital currency, period. Not crypto, none of those stuff. Because it has protection, crypto protection, don't make it a cryptocurrency. It is a digital note. If you have a Visa card, MasterCard, and a relationship with your bank, they don't charge you a whole bunch of fees, stick with it. Sand dollar does nothing for you. These people who say, I use my credit card to top up my sand dollar. I go, bam, bam, bam. So what you say is, I took 4 quarters and Sea Island gave me 4 quarters back. Oh, look, I got new stuff.
All right.
Okay, let's go back to
the
importance of this. See, this is why we need an education forum to dismiss these people who have hundreds, if not thousands of people who don't know that what they're saying is garbage. And this is why we're going to begin to talk more, because you have literally hundreds of people like him, and Graham on the internet telling people these things.
We have a call on the line, Sea Island. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Okay. How you doing, Mrs. Malcolm?
Good, thanks.
I just want to say this, Sancho again. I just want to say this to Mr. Johnson. Yes, again, if you're saying that the sand dollar is a controlled, centralized currency controlled by the central bank.
Oh, so control you.
Listen, let me finish, my brother. You've been talking. The advantage is the cryptocurrency is a decentralized, controlled currency by private persons, just like whatever the young man named who swing the whole country. Okay, but the difference is if you talk about in positioning your fiat, which is your dollar, because all the sand dollars is a mirror reflection of your dollar for protection, like you say, for persons who don't want to go through intermediary fractions and get paid all them high prices and interest rates that they can now bank direct by converting their currency, their fiat, into digital currency to spend domestically. One. Secondly, okay, if we were
wrong on the question,
let me finish. This is the last point, then I go on. If you talk about comparing or putting your currency on the position for global trade, you can look at what will you back it by. Most currencies that are traded globally are backed by gold. They're backed by some natural resources. Hence why I was saying. Hence why I don't know what you're saying. You could Google and just like you say Google, you could find out what strong economies are backed by.
You should go to page 2 of Google.
Just as saying the central bank, in order to create a stronger fiat, we have resources that if we was in fully control of our resources like sand, which is equitable and it could be paid to gold as a reserve because it's a trading commodity. And as you put that on reserve, salt is also a trading commodity that could be put on reserve. Agriculture and fisheries is a trading commodity that could be put on reserve. What is backing economy by reserves such as stuff like that? It's because that's what you could trade. You could direct trade with salt. You could direct trade with gold. You could direct trade with fish. You could direct trade with these things.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard about
So when you now talk about international trade with the monetary or the dollar, the fiat, always remember, sir, it is our leaders, it is our system who have not pushed and put in place the system and the platform for global trading. We accept U.S. American dollar, which means there's no problem why we can't accept or have our money accepted globally. The same way if we was to put in the same systems to protect our dollar to go out globally outside of domestic markets.
Don't hang up yet. Have you ever heard?
I love you.
No, don't hang up. Have you heard about a country called Jamaica?
Say it again?
Have you heard of a country called Jamaica?
Have I heard about a country called Jamaica? Yes, I've heard of it.
Are you familiar with a natural resource called bauxite?
Yes, sir. They have a lot of it. And they just found titanium in their soil too.
Now, do you understand how the story of Jamaica and bauxite and the same arrogance of ignorance that you took when Jamaica decided that their bauxite was worth more to back by their dollar? That the people around the world went to Ghana or what other country it was and buy bauxite that was 50% the quality of Jamaica bauxite and told them to choke on their bauxite, and their dollar went.
But you make my point.
No, listen to me, please.
I need y'all to wrap this argument up. Listen,
listen to me.
You're again going down.
What happens is these individuals like him and others, whenever a conversation going on, they want to insert themselves with their fantasy because they believe some people there that don't know. They're depending on your ignorance for them to sound intelligent. I've heard him. I know him very well. I could dismiss every 90. If he say 100 things, I could dismiss 102 of them.
Okay, we have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hey, Michelle, I had to call you back. I had so many people call me. Listen,
I feel like I had a wasp nest today, man.
Even from the Security Commission. See, Alan, it went from apples to oranges quick, eh?
I don't know.
Yeah, man, we was talking about crypto, and we went straight from crypto to the digital version of a fiat dollar that can't spend anywhere in the world. Listen, what's the benefit, C. Allen, of the sand dollar in Miami on my phone versus the paper dollar, Bahamian dollar, in my hand in Miami? I tell you,
it depends on where you go, Graham, because I understand there's some places in Miami that don't accept the Bahamian dollar anymore.
Yes, so I could go to an exchange over there and somebody will give me $50 American for my 100 Bahamian, but for that sandy dollar, they can say, child, please. That might be like this FTX.
Let me just quickly say this. Here's the defect in the sand dollar. The defect in the sand dollar is that you don't have a sand dollar wallet that's not teamed up with another currency. And a lot of people don't even know that they have a sand dollar wallet. I'm not going to call it other wallet's name, but in that wallet is a sand dollar. If I wanted to, and the sand dollar becomes strong enough that enough suckers, people have it. What I would do is I would go to Miami and I will accept an exchange and I accept the digital sand dollar. And all I would do is have you transfer from your wallet to my wallet, and then I'll transfer the US dollar to your wallet also. So this nothing. I'm simply saying it's just these are.
Alan will become an FTX basically. He'll become an exchange.
So what I'm saying is this. Listen to me, please. I was involved with banking, one of the fastest growing, the first digital credit union in the United States, the first credit union to offer credit cards, the first credit union to offer online banking, all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Just because I don't live on my previous accomplishment. I'm building the future. Okay, I listen to all of these experts. Let me say this point. All these experts who were sitting with me in Burger King the week before September 16th or whatever, and then they get elected. They're now geniuses, and then after 2021, they will no longer be. They won't know none of the stuff they're talking about now.
Okay.
So, a quick question, Michelle.
Go ahead.
Like C. Alan Johnson said, if I have a debit card, right, and when I use it, they charge me fees. You know what those are. Why would I take my debit card and pay a fee to buy a sandy dollar? That's ludicrous. Just use the debit card.
All right, gentlemen.
But next week, I'd like to talk to you about it, Michelle, next week. What we could be doing, because we could take our natural resources, unlike Jamaica, and back our own digital currency, a conch coin.
Gentlemen,
that was suggested in 2016.
We all are talking another show.
Yeah. All right, that's what I'm saying to you. Because again,
I'm not going to allow.
I want to move. That's what I'm saying to you.
Let's take a break.
Let's move to the next
and
hour.
when I come back from this break, I don't want nobody to call me talk about anything other than what
we
talk
before
about
you
today.
Get the break, listen to me. Before you get the break, all these people with these political parties and all these things with these fantasies about natural resources and all these different things, we'll have a talk on the natural resources today. But this fantasy that you're going to go to these world powers and make them buy your crap, that's what you're going to be doing, eating crap.
Okay, so here's a reality as opposed to a fantasy. It's 3:04 p.m. and we have not even touched the surface of what this show is supposed to be about today. That being said, don't call back here anybody running around with some mess, because we got to stay focused. We only got an hour left, and I need people to understand the implications of what went down with FTX for the Bahamas. This is a very serious thing.
And a president and a prime minister were seen, even though they were paid, were seen as happy with this product. And that's where we're going to catch a lot of hell between England and America and one of the world's biggest sports guys. I don't hear anything from those people, do you?
Yeah,
go check their Twitter account.
We're taking a break. We're taking a break.
But Michelle, so we come back clean. We're taking a break. These compensated people have no effect on us, none. What we did do.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting sugar-free berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Last is love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company, along with C. Alan Johnson. We're supposed to be discussing this whole issue of FTX going belly up and Binance saying, I'm sorry, but we're not going to be able to bail you out based on information we now see as to the way you are operating your exchange.
Right.
So what does this mean for the Bahamas? Keep in mind that back in April, FTX launched its new headquarters here with a lot of fanfare, and they had a lot of fancy folks who attended this big private event, and they were throwing money around left, right, and center, and donating here and donating there, and everybody got all excited. And now we are here today potentially with egg on our face as FTX goes belly up and Binance says, I ain't touching it with a 10-foot pole. The telephone number's to call. Hold on, Seattle, because we have a caller. The telephone number, no? Okay. The telephone number's to call, 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and our WhatsApp line for text messages only, 8010271, 8010271. Before you jump back in, Seattle, I want to read a quote from an article that appears in the Nassau Guardian. They said that they were told by the deputy prime minister, acting prime minister, in the absence of Prime Minister Davis, Chester Cooper, that he has been briefed on the matter by the Attorney General, and he said that this is a matter for the regulators and there are international implications. We have a well-established regulatory regime with a top-notch reputation in international financial services. I am constrained from commenting further, but I am confident that the matter is in the sights of the relevant regulators. Does that give you any comfort, C. Allen? And if not, why?
The regulator, with the exception of the verification that they call for, there's a lot of rules that's breaking in their verification. For instance, it says they're supposed to verify assets, commingling, all of these things. The problem is, I don't think that we have the ability to verify these things. Look, the government of the Bahamas have problems giving us digital papers. You're talking about regulating the digital universe. You're funny. This is why SPF said in a show that I sent you a copy of, where he said that, look, this is a Ponzi scheme, but in the digital world, we don't call it that. This is the man who said that. He said that. And by the way, that was in, he said it on Bloomberg podcast, the financial services around the world. He said right then and there that it's a Ponzi scheme. Cryptocurrency and yield farming is a Ponzi scheme. This is Sam Bankman-Fried statement.
I tried all I could. I couldn't download that video to play for our audiences. I really tried.
Okay, so he says it is. So now we don't have to debate. He said it was a Ponzi scheme. Let me ask you a question. Now that he's going to be bankrupt and everything, does it change the fact that it is a Ponzi scheme? It doesn't, because somebody else do it. So what I'm saying to you, this ramifications, forget what happened in the Bahamas. Because basically all we got was trinkets. Here was a guy that worth billions of dollars. You know why you got trinkets? Because this billions wasn't real anyway. That's why he could only give you bags for the students and all these other different things.
All right, let's go to the phone. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Miss Malcolm.
Yes.
I hope you're doing well.
I am, thank you.
I just have to I heard this argument going on your show, but let me just say this. Because you look at the project in Grand Bahama, that went up belly up too. Also the FTX, and I even understand that there's another grouping that's coming in here, similar to FTX. The government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas has been deceived by strangers, foreigners, aliens, and outsiders. The people of Grand Bahama have been set back too many times. It is high time that the Bahamian people begin to make some sound decisions and good judgments, because obviously we cannot trust what our own leaders are telling us. With the current acting prime minister, the things that were said by him about this particular project, and how we are so gullible as a people to believe what political personalities say. The problem in our country is we're not being honest, we're not being truthful, we're not being reliable. See, sometimes, Ms. Malcolm, it is very difficult to get accurate and precise information on issues that affect the Bahamian people. So you have to keep digging deep. And I appreciate what C. Allen is doing. He's trying to educate the people. But there will be some who don't understand, who don't know. Just like the Constitution, they think they know all about the Constitution talking crap. They know nothing. But they're not prepared to listen to those who have the information to accurately disseminate that information to others. And so this financial thing, of course, there are those who have expertise in that, and I'm prepared to listen to those who can assist me and help me to understand what is going on. So I really appreciate the show, and I hope that Mr. Allen will be able to bring the evidence to the Bahamian people to educate us and let us not get into these useless arguments, particularly people who have no knowledge, no understanding of what's going on, but they just have theories or ideas they heard from somebody somewhere, and they want to bring that to the table. It can't work. Like you say, you can't fool those people outside who could talk better than us. Thank you very much, Ms. Malcolm.
All right, thank you for calling. We have a person on the line.
Just let me say, for GBIC that he spoke about on Grand Bahama,
right?
Everyone remember when they broke ground in Grand Bahama, I stood up on national radio and television and said, if they last 6 months, I'll make $100,000 donation to any charity. Guess how long they last? They came in with millions of dollars supposedly. They last 5 months.
You almost lose your money.
That's how sure I was.
We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Michelle, and good afternoon, CRN.
Hi.
Trust you all well, and thanks for the coverage with the hurricane preparedness, Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, this whole development. I have a question. What's going to happen? I just passed the property with the sign with the FTX or something.
You still have FTX? I thought a for sale sign would have been there by now.
No, I told my husband, man, we need to stop and take a picture in front of this sign.
Yes.
Right? Because you don't know how long it'll be there. But my question is, I'm wondering what's gonna happen as far as that property, because they already started work on that. It's cleared down and everything.
Yeah.
What happens with that when you declare bankruptcy? He declared bankruptcy.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't yet.
In the U.S.
No, he hasn't declared. Personally, he has not declared bankruptcy. However, he declared that unless he finds somebody willing to acquire the assets of FTX Global, they will declare bankruptcy.
Okay. It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen with that development, and as far as but the thing is with that, and how many Bahamians, because you couldn't really buy or invest in that unless you had like top dollar, right?
No, this is where this is where they were buying. These Bahamians was running around here buying $100, right? Like instead of buying a bag of rice, they bought a couple of grains of rice and running around until they were rice farmers.
Right. So like I said, it's going to be. That crypto thing, because I saw it. I tried to understand, exactly what it's all about, and I still don't have a complete understanding. I listened to, we didn't make it because they didn't call the name of the Bahamas on BBC. It was on Morning Joe. It was on CNN, right? And the statement
This is huge international news, really.
Yes, he tweeted out some foolishness, but I heard about
he tweeted an apology.
Yeah, how could you say don't worry, America, you guys, your investment is safe.
Yeah.
But
Pause. What he's saying is this: America, because you had strong regulations, all of you guys who invested in our company in America, you're 100% safe. For the rest,
I'll go after this, right? How many international companies are invested, or how many international countries are invested in that company? I'll hang up and I'll listen.
Thanks for calling.
In FTX Global, you can find some major label. This is what is called crypto contagion, right?
Some very influential companies and individuals got involved
for millions, if not billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Let me see. I want to come back to where their money went. But what FTX was, an FTX Global, and every country where there was regulations, he had another company physically set up docile in those countries to meet those requirements. So he had a bunch of pods that's interconnected. What Binance may have found is that just how the U.S. money was supposed to be in a separate can, Binance may have found that because these other countries did not have strong enough regulations or laws that would lock them away for hundreds of years, that's why he didn't mess with America. He may have commingled their money and moved them around in other cans. So what he said is, all of you in these other countries who bought on these other exchanges, y'all are fresh out of luck. I would use another word.
Yeah, please. I don't want to.
Fresh out of luck.
Case.
And
Yeah.
for those of you that invested in FTX US, you are secured because the regulations around in the US is protecting your money and is 100% there. Now, I want you to look at the comparison. I want you to look at the comparison of the Bahamas. You have an FTX US and an FTX Global in the Bahamas. Why is it that the exact same company trading the exact same things is telling the 5% of the people in the US you are 100% safe? And if it wasn't true, trust me, the US government would have dismissed it. And he's telling the other 95% of the rest of the world, you shit out of luck.
Okay, Let me help you answer that question. Bankman-Fried has said that his company chose the Bahamas from a laundry list of countries because of its digital assets legislation known as the Digital Assets and Registered Exchanges, or DARE Act. During the groundbreaking for FTX's $60 million headquarters, Bankman-Fried said FTX searched the globe with a fine-tooth comb to find a well-regulated jurisdiction to set up shop. And the Guardian is quoting him. We sort of went country by country and crossed off the ones that required a license but could not grant one, said Bankman-Fried. We weren't sure where we'd end up. We sort of got word that one of them, countries, actually had already passed a cryptocurrency regulation regime, one of the only jurisdictions in the world to do so, and the few emissaries we had sent out to check it out had a really, really good experience. That was the Bahamas. I want you to marinate on that. We have a caller on the line. Hold the thought. You can make the point after this caller. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Hi.
Yeah, just quickly though, I was just this is the first time I listened to the station, right? And it's interesting because I only stopped because I hear two of the people them arguing, right?
You late to the party, but anyhow, better late than never. Welcome.
Welcome.
Yeah. So just by listening, right, I get Mr. Allen name, right? But Mr. Allen, I was just telling the gentleman who answered the phone, right? You know what's going on or whatever, and people like you know what's going on, right? People like me who don't understand none but the financial whatever. There's a lot of us out there. We don't understand the things you know. You understand? But people like me, we trust our government to make these decisions and to make these choices. Everybody ain't perfect. Everybody ain't right. Everybody don't make the right decisions. Okay, like you say, 5 months they fail, right? You gave to keep your 100,000, right? But it's people like us who don't know what's going on. But instead of you all arguing and bickering and fighting all the time, right, amongst men, right? That's what we used to understand too. Because a lot of us watching, you all say, you know what I mean? You all want the streets to stop fighting or this to stop fighting, right? But you all see fighting too. Instead of you all come together and say, make the right choices and do the right things, right? For the masses of people, right? You all have your own argument and you all have your own bickering too. And then you all can sit down like man and come to one solution. That would be the problem, right?
Okay,
there.
caller. So get to the point now.
Caller, can I make a point to you?
Yeah, you can make a point.
I'm not trying to join the gang that those other two callers are trying to join. Okay?
Okay, go ahead.
No, what I'm saying to you is, you're saying the political party. See, they're trying to fit in. I'm trying to stand out. I've always told the truth. And when I said put the $100,000, I'm saying to you, I was talking against a government. And you have to ask yourself a question. The government is standing up, making this grand announcement that this company is going to come here and change your life. And I look you in the face and says, here's $100,000. If this company could do this, you could have this 100,000 in addition to what the company could do for you. You have to ask yourself, why I'm willing to bet a company will fail, a multi-million-dollar company will fail within 6 months, unless I was a crazy man or I was so sure that it was all fake in the beginning that I was willing to bet. What I'm saying to you is this: we have to begin to use discernment and begin to ask ourselves, do not be colored by the political things or saying they're fighting. You have to listen through the noise. You know, they say the noise in the marketplace is fine. Watch the price of the fish.
Okay. I don't want us to spend a lot of time.
No. Let me just say this one thing. I understand you clearly, right? But there's people like us who did not hear them statements, who did not understand. Like I say, I only stopped because I hear you all arguing. I was wondering what you all arguing about. So it's a lot of people who do not know what you're talking about or what the country is. Nothing like I'm saying we just expect governments to make the right decisions for the masses. So when they fail, then it becomes a problem because people like yourself know the truth. But so why we have to go through this all the times with all governments? I-43. I've been through this through all governments, so why it always got to go through that? If people like out there who know it's a failure and who it's going to be a failure, why it's done? Why? I mean, because they're the government and only part of the government.
No, because just let get distracted. But just call it. Listen to me after disconnect. Listen to me, please.
Yes, sir.
The problem is that you have put faith in the government. I mean, someone like me is willing to look the government in their face and say they are wrong. You say, but they're the government, and if they get it wrong, we'll come again. And I'm saying to you, for 20 years,
I'd like to make a call.
For 20 years, I've told you nothing but the truth, regardless of which government, FNM or PLP, was in power. And when the third parties came, I said to you that these people are incapable and incompetent. What is the one thing that's constant? The truth never changed.
Here's the thing. Not in defense of the administration that's in power now. Not defending their decision, but this fellow was able to swing plenty influential people. I mean, some of his speakers included former British Prime Minister Tony Blair
but they're not investors.
President Bill Clinton and
right. See, Michelle, he didn't fool them. They were compensated endorsers.
So he was just using them.
Absolutely,
they were paid employees.
There you go. So what I'm saying is that, so you understand, like the guy that tells you drink this particular soda, but
I understand the difference.
Okay.
All right.
I'm saying to you now, however, some major institutions
did follow him.
Right. Even ones who denied that it was possible in the first.
And so invested a lot of their money and their clients' monies.
These, like BlackRock and the rest of them, they said it was junk science before. We must give some SBF credit because he was able to envelope this thing in such a good manner that, like, you came to me and I said, this is a rotten mango. So what he did was he took the same rotten mango, go put it in the blender and sold you mango juice. And you say, nah, I'll drink this, but it's the same rotten mango. So that's what he was good at. So what I'm simply saying, but we have to look at how this impacts us.
Yes, and that's where I want to go, but I got to take another break because this has implications beyond the major implication of what this looks like for us as a regulatory institution or entity. This goes even further than that, and I want to discuss that on the other side of the break. So stay with us. This is GPS. We'll be back after these words from our sponsor.
Blood sugar levels play a key role in your appetite, weight gain, and overall health. When you have a blood sugar spike, you can feel confused, dizzy, and even have increased cravings. Eating carbohydrates, sugary or fatty foods, and not exercising can all cause blood sugar spikes. But now you have help in managing blood sugar levels. Sweeties by Longevity was designed to help support healthy blood sugar levels so you can power through your day. It's a synergistic blend of minerals, herbs, and nutrients that have been proven to support healthy blood sugar levels. Sweeties includes chromium, an essential trace mineral that's known for its contribution to healthy blood sugar levels and improved metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Cinnamon bark has been included for its naturally occurring antioxidants and support of a healthy heart. And we've even added gymnema. It's been used in Ayurveda for centuries to help promote healthy blood sugar. All the ingredients in Sweeties work together to give the best support available for blood sugar control. Sweeties, the blood sugar support supplement from Longevity that helps control cravings and manage blood sugar levels through your day. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rim, paint, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blasted love.
As you age, Factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Even everyday exercise can lead to wear and tear on your body. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Glucogel by Youngevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of collagen-rich gelatin your body needs for joint elasticity and maintenance. Ultimate Glucogel contains a 1-to-1 ratio of gelatin and glucosamine sulfate, which is a key building block of your bone matrix, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and connective tissue. Gelatin's unique blend of amino acids not only help with muscle and joint health, but also has been shown to provide additional benefits for the brain, skin, and hair. Ultimate Glucogel. Natural, optimal daily support for joint health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company, along with C. Alan Johnson. We're talking about the FTX conundrum, for want of a better word, having to declare bankruptcy because Binance says it's not going to bail it out.
Not just Binance, but other people too.
Well, yeah. But what does that actually mean for the Bahamas? The telephone numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, the WhatsApp line. For text messages only, 8010271. I want to read a couple of excerpts from the article that appeared in The Guardian. There is speculation that there could be widespread damage to this country's reputation after FTX became the golden child for digital asset regulations in the Bahamas and the great hope for a big future in the digital assets industry in this country. But now, listen to this. There is still no understanding of what FTX's possible collapse could mean for all of the commitments and investments the company and its team have made in the Bahamas, including a multi-million-dollar investment in a headquarters in Western New Providence. So this is
take those off the list, Michelle. When the company says, "I'll give you $1 million," and when the company checks the bank account, it has $0 in it. Why would you sit and fantasize that you'll get the $1 million? Bankruptcy means I have no money. So whatever investments they promise is dead. Only if somebody buy their assets. And if they buy $20 billion worth of assets for $5 billion, that whatever's left, they don't have the money to finish those commitments. We need not fantasize about any office with them. The best thing we could do tomorrow is quickly remove the FTX name of that land and put a for sale sign on it, so we don't know this is where FTX was going to go. And so the promises made is exactly what it is. Remember, he said promises made is a comfort to a fool, but it must meet two requirements. You must be considered a fool. The person must have not a fool. The person must have show ability and intent. Good. At one time, he had both the ability and the intent. Guess what? As it stands today, he has the intent, but he doesn't have the ability. So if you continue to expect it, you are then a fool. Remove all the promises made. FTX is dead. Dead. You know. Now, we have damage to our reputation. I heard what the Deputy Prime Minister said. It's major damage. However, we can use this as a lesson learned, because he not only deceived us who did not know anything digital, though we had a digital environment. Now consider, with all respect, FTX had a former attorney general as their attorney, a former financial services minister as their attorney.
Mm-hmm.
And one have to answer, where were their loyalty to their clients or overall to the country lie? This is a former leader of the country, okay? Knowing that these ramifications, and so when you begin to look at the people who fed off this animal, FTX, and now we are suffering the consequences of profit over people. Plain as it stands. They saw profit, they saw opportunity, and they did not look at it from a national standpoint. Let me say, The Bahamas is still the most digitally prepared country in the world. However, we are not. Preparedness is not, I said all the time, it's not utilization. There is no digital laws in the Bahamas. I challenge any KC, former QCs, whatever. There is no digital laws in the Bahamas. It addresses digital things, but there is no laws that is enforceable in the digital space. Unenforceable. So let's not fantasize. That's why FTX was able to do what it did, because even our digital assets bill dealt with real assets as opposed to real digital assets, the intangible. Just like a sovereign wealth fund, digital assets is real, the seen and unseen, the tangible, intangible, the known and the unknown. Exactly the same. Our bills, there's no laws in the Bahamas that addresses the seen and unseen, the known and the unknown, the tangible and intangible. We have a data law. There is no data law in the Bahamas. This is what I'm saying to you. What we were doing is we were pretending, and this guy went to all these other places that has regulations, and he says the Bahamas was the best one for what? For what he wanted to do, not the best states in the world. Because if he wanted to do the best in the world, apparently all those other jurisdictions that he was in, they collapsed. They're also collapsing. Well, the U.S. one is collapsing, so if he wanted the intent of preserving his clients, he had to put it all in the U.S. and put himself under their regulation. But again, this is a whole other conversation concerning, do we need regulation in the purest sense of what Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is supposed to be? And so,
Okay, so just because we have a call on the line, but just to give people an idea what kind of money we're talking about, according to the Guardian's article, as of last evening, newswire agency Reuters reported that Bankman-Fried told investors the company needs $8 billion to cover the shortfall caused by the number of withdrawal requests the company received in the past few days. $8 billion short.
Remember now, in one day, people already withdraw billions of dollars off this exchange. And so this is a demand. And the problem is the assets that he has left is not going to be worth $8 billion unless the data in the back offices, the infrastructure, could be argued to have an intangible value of $8 billion. And so the problem is that the question is anybody willing to pay that for it? Remember, FTX was in the process of buying other companies that had no value, right? Buying their stock the same way that his own is, but he was after the data. The data is only good if it can be utilized in that perspective, or I have to wait.
We have a caller, Alan, so wrap it up. Caller, welcome to GPS.
I just want to ask Mr. Allen, what is the solution? Now we know the problem. What is our solution? What is the solution?
I hope I can get to it.
It ain't up to him.
No, it ain't up to me, but I do have recommendations.
Go ahead.
Okay. Let's first, I want people to understand what is happening. What happens was he has bamboozled the world by taking rotten mangoes and making mango juice, put some sugar and honey in it. Now it tastes differently. But
and by the way, he very well could end up in prison.
If you'd like
to
make a call. Yes, absolutely. And so when you asked about the solution, I was talking about the fact that we have no digital laws, we have no data laws, we have none of these things. We don't have any anti-corruption laws. We don't have any antitrust laws, for which these were things that he violated. He violated antitrust laws. But when you begin to have antitrust laws and these competition laws, you're now going after companies in the Bahamas that act as importers, distributors, wholesalers, and retailers, the same people. If the food program the government could fix that by setting up some antitrust laws. Notice how the antitrust laws apply to this and to that. See, we don't have any anti-corruption laws. We don't have any transparency laws. We don't have any freedom of information laws. All the things we've been asking for decades. The problem is this: we keep electing people where they say, I won't be corrupt unless there's a law to make me not be corrupt. I'll only be transparent if there's a law that makes me be transparent. I'll only give you freedom of information if the law makes me, and then they won't pass the law that makes them. You need to elect leaders who's willing to do this, period. And so what you now have, we need some integrity laws. We need some integrity laws. Is where a guy say he's a millionaire, he works in customs or an MP, he went in broke. What you would do, like Singapore and the rest of them, is prove how you made this money, or we taking it all. Okay, not just the little bit you stole. We're gonna take everything that you mixed together. Because I can't. If I spit in the water, I can tell you take out the spit. If not, I can take all the water. So that's the integrity laws. We need an anti-corruption laws. We need freedom of information laws. All of these at once to save ourselves from this very thing. We can now pass these 5 or 6 frames of framework: anti-corruption, freedom of information, integrity, and anti-corruption laws, and then pass some digital laws that actually addresses the digital space in its language.
Let me ask you something, C. Allen. It is likely that there's going to be a lot of heat that comes down from international agencies as a result of these developments. Do you believe that heat will be sufficient to force us to do what we need to do to set up a proper system in this country, as you just described?
No, not with this leadership. What happens is, habits, they say, right? You're in the habit of lying. You're in the habit of concealing. You can only replace, you can't break a habit, you can only replace one habit with another one. The problem is, listen to me carefully. If we were to give those 5 laws, and this is my personal opinion, we will build a new prison, and the current Fox Hill prison will become known as the Fox Hill Graveyard. Why will it become the Fox Hill Graveyard? Because we're going to go find all those previous people that we know and govern and celebrated, and we're going to move their bones to Fox Hill, because they got to do some time, even if they dead, for what they did to this country.
Wow.
So I'm simply saying is that we came from a nature, a culture of piracy, gun running, drug running, rum running, everything. We must break, how the religious people say, we have to break this generational curse of thievery, corruption, misinformation, and whatever. It's dependent upon these people knowing that you're suffering from a generational curse to make sure that your children, the new generation, you have people right now, we got 5 generations of people alive in this country. And guess what? The same pre-boomer generation, not the boomers too. I'm a boomer too. Michelle, you're a boomer too. We never had a chance to govern. Then you have the millennials, never had a chance to govern. They're up to 46 years old right now. Then you have the Gen Z, up to 26 years old right now. They've never had a chance to govern. And then you got Generation Alpha, who will be eligible to vote in the next election, the election after, who have yet to govern. We have the same old mindset that has been running this country for 60 years. We have tourism that has now been digitized. Notice I said no digital law, and tokenization is one of the, listen to me, you know why they don't really want a real token company like what SBF does? Because it can make all of you real millionaires. The laws that we must alter now is where like the lady said from the exchange, right? It's too prescriptive. It's very prescriptive. First of all, let's go back to what the Deputy Prime Minister said. He writes the laws for which the Securities Commission is governed by. If there's defects in the Securities Commission, change the laws and they will fall in line. And then begin to enforce those things the same way they ignored, I think, number 9 and number 15 of the Security Commission about assets that would have shown some to be defective. Because why? We had no one there that understood digital. And I speak a digital language and I speak an analog language. And I'm saying to you, there's very few of us in this country that speak digital. But there's a lot of people out there who talk about natural resources, digital, everything. This way it's on to you. And then because you don't speak that, you said they must be saying something. You said
we have a call on the line, Cialan. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Ms. Malcolm.
Hi.
Your show is the best.
Oh, thank you.
You and C. Allen Johnson. C. Allen Johnson needs to be the Prime Minister. You the Deputy Prime Minister.
Well,
y'all are good.
I got enough stress in my life. Why you put that stress on me?
Keep up the good work. Y'all are doing well. I can't wait to get for your show to get on. It's very interesting. And also Graham Rutherford, put him in it too. He needs to be in a party, y'all. All y'all together. Y'all are the best. Keep up the good work. God bless y'all.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that support. I appreciate that support. Wow. Okay. See, Alan, the question is being asked around the world now. I see an article that appears in the New York Times, and it says Binance pulls out of deal to acquire rival crypto exchange FTX. The rapid collapse of FTX, built by the billionaire Sam Bankman-Fried, suggests that no company in the freewheeling, loosely regulated crypto industry is safe. What do you think of that?
Absolutely. Now we begin. We see in retrospect. You know, like how we said we go back and look at how we look back to space for time. We're now going back, and people are now beginning to see things even I've said. They thought I was making it up. They now have printed proof that it wasn't me talking. I was reading what other reports were saying, that this was all smoke and mirrors. So what happens is they were able to go through the hype. But I'm saying to you, this is what is called a crypto winter freeze. Okay? This is going to be a dark nights for the crypto community for a long time, because people are going to begin to examine the viability of the assets that's backing these cryptos. And the fact that 99.98% of cryptos have no assets backing it, they're all going to die. Now, here's the point. Cryptocurrencies have subdivisions in it called tokenization and even DeFi. This actually, there's something called CeFi, CEFI, which is centralized finance, and DeFi, which is decentralized finance, something cryptocurrency has no longer decentralized finance. Stop the garbage about you being decentralized. I can track every single wallet in the world today by going back to the first 16 wallets and follow it straight through, because you're all on these platforms now. People like me, you can't find my wallet anywhere, because I ain't never been on no platforms. You don't even know what I got. You don't know what I got, 1 Bitcoin or 1,000. So I'm simply saying is, all of these so-called makeup wallets and buying these fractions of a coin and everything else. I don't have fractions of Bitcoin. When I had Bitcoin, I still have some. I have whole Bitcoins. So I don't go on exchanges. So what I'm simply saying is, it's no longer decentralized finance. However, DeFi and blockchain is powerful. Even blockchain for the sand dollar, they say they're on the blockchain. I wish to know which one and how it's done. If we understand what blockchain technology is, if we understand that real world tokenization is a reality, and move our exchange to the same way when you bought real stocks, when you bought real gold, real silver, and all these different things, except make it digital, we could save face on this and says the world has learned. Because this isn't just the Bahamas that he bamboozled. He bamboozled every country in the world except the US and China and Russia.
All right. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good day, Michelle. Very good show.
Thank you.
I would like to ask C. Allen some questions concerning too big to fail. This is when, Wall Street had to be bailed by the U.S. taxpayers because they sold subprime loans that were basically made of assets that they used, toxic assets, that failed.
This is one of them, except this one is police rescue.
I'm trying to say to you, in every market, there's always failures of companies. The fact that you're so exuberant in your enthusiasm to destroy crypto, you're going to use one failure or a few failures in crypto to destroy the whole market. Doesn't make sense because it doesn't add up. It's not logical. There are people inside the crypto market that are doing pump and dump schemes. We know that.
Okay, pause.
Let him finish, Alan. Let him finish, Alan.
Talking for the whole show, man. Give me a chance. Okay? Do know that this happens in the United States as well, but they have the SEC to protect people in those markets. My thing is, our government did not do enough investigation and compliance to find out that these guys literally had that money in cash, or it was just made of money that they said that they have. I think our regulations need to be a little stricter. Those people inside the Securities Commission of the Bahamas should have investigated the books to see if this guy had the tangible assets before they allow him to come inside this country and do their due diligence. That's what was supposed to happen. And I'm also surprised that a guy who made that amount of money never hedged his bet and never invested some of his money in the capital markets to hedge his bet to make sure that if a day like this comes, when a margin call was made, that he was able to pay his dues. There are many markets over there that he could have invested that money's in.
You want to have a conversation?
Hedge against what was going to happen to him. This was all about a competitor throwing his weight around, using something that he heard, instigated a rumor, every market, and making a power play. That's all it takes, C. Allen.
Okay, let's give C. Allen an opportunity to respond, caller. Go ahead, C. Allen.
There you go, the arrogance of ignorance leading to paralysis of analysis. With all due respect to me, man, you must first understand Binance's relationship to FTX is a father and son relationship, and he knew it. And his killing, I don't care what anybody says, his execution of FTX was totally unnecessary because FTX only had Binance only had $600 million worth of FTTQ tokens when he scared the market by going to it. And believe it or not, Alameda with Miss Carolyn Ellison, she could have came up with that $600 million to continue this fraud. He deliberately put it out there, pull it back, and then allow them to have a run on FTX to get exactly what he want. They were at war for a long time, father and son. Here's what he said, and you go and read the information, do your research. You would see that those in the cryptocurrency market was upset with SBF because he was saying one thing in the public, and then when he go into meetings behind the door, he was trying to cut a deal for himself to protect the market he wanted to create, not the Bitcoin market, whatever else. This was punishment for betraying the belief it is. Question: how do you regulate crypto assets? I said to you, 99.98%. If you got 12,000 cryptocurrency and only 5 of them have any type of credibility, how do you regulate something that don't exist? Cryptocurrency is a fantasy in the minds of people. How do you take an asset? Because all you're doing is saying, look, I made up Allen Johnson coin, give me your $1,000, and then you say, now you should take the $1,000 and invest it in the regular marketplace so that in case I come back and say I want my money back. Man, listen to me.
We have another call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hey, Michelle, one quick question on today's subject. Why have we 24 hours later, and C. Allen can answer, or you, or someone can call in, have we not heard from the governor of the central bank? I believe it's John Roll. And why have we not heard from anybody, I don't want to call any other names, in the central bank? Because we have the Securities Commission, right, that would crawl up and down C. Allen if he started his C. Allen coin today, Michelle, with you. How come we've not heard a peep from these two? We don't need freedom information.
That's above my pay grade. I can't answer that.
But let me say, I can say why, because this is not a central bank fight yet. Okay?
Yes.
That's it. You're right. I'm not going to see. I don't want to throw a stone there yet. It's not a central bank fight.
C. Allen, was fiat used by anybody to purchase digital assets?
Yes, the point
if it was. Then it did jump into our fiat Security Commission realm.
Right, so minuscule. You know what it was, right? In the same way, people money burning up in their houses every day. That's what this is what that means. This is a small burn to the central bank. This is billions of dollars or whatever. But I'm simply saying this.
I'm leaving that, but I want to just say I'm waiting to hear from the central bank.
But they don't have anything to I'm saying to you.
Bank.
Let me ask you a second, Graham.
Yeah.
If you had $2 million in your house and the house burned down today, what would you want the central bank to say? Nothing.
What would I want the central bank to say?
That's my point. Nothing. It's too small of a money. That's your money you burnt.
Okay.
It happened in our jurisdiction.
Graham, stop it, man. Graham, please.
Okay, Ellen, I believe.
You're convoluting.
Security Commission needs to tell us what happened.
The Securities Commission we need to hear from for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. We only have 7 minutes left.
I'm saying, Graham, please.
And I want this to be a purposeful 7 minutes.
No, I'm saying
let me ask you this question, C. Allen. Let me ask you this question. Are you of the opinion, or are you suggesting that, because we hear it all the time, that cryptocurrency is the future. Cryptocurrency is the future. Are you of the opinion, or are you suggesting that the only way that this can be sustainable is if we invest in cryptocurrencies that are actually backed by something other than just, as you call it, fantasy?
Yes. Real world assets. See, that's come to tokenization. I have a piece of property and I can tokenize it. Let me show you what tokenization scares. This is why they want regulation. Tokenization scare people. When you have a real tokenization, and I'm going to have a show on this, right? Because we could build the entire Bahamas. I say to you, the Bahamas could raise a few $1 billion in the next year and buy and build places. But if you don't get like Graham and all the rest of them interfere. Look, tokenization is this. Let's eliminate a lawyer and accountant. I go and you buy an apartment building, and it's part of 10-unit apartment. It's tokenized, a condo. Each one of those is 10 tokens. Once you digitize that and you put the title into the token, it's secured. on a smart contract, a DAO. Now, when it's time for me to sell that apartment, I don't need to go back to a real estate agent. I don't need to go back to a lawyer. I just transfer the ownership from my wallet to your wallet, and you transfer the money from your bank to my bank. And now you have done it without another lawyer, no title search, no anything, because everything is still secure in the digital space. Digital space don't allow for fraud and error, quiet titling, and none of that stuff. So what happens is you have now eliminated accountants, appraisers, all these things beyond the initial point of contact. And so this is where the world is going to. This is what CBDC, central bank depositories, about. It's about them, about controlling global currency and controlling your life in the way that, you know what they say? You will not own anything and you will still be happy. Remember that. And so essentially they decide what you eat, how you eat, when you spend what you spend it on, everything. That's what the digital currency is. The central bank digital currencies are heading to without certain protections put in, which could bring them back into the crypto space. But
is it possible to have a successful cryptocurrency backed by something like our natural resources?
Yes, but again, that will not be a static value. That'll be what is called a dynamic asset. All you're doing is basically tokenizing the transaction, but you can't tokenize the actual assets. Those are not fixed assets. A diamond. This is where remember they said NFTs, and NFTs is non-fungible token, something that's unique, can't be duplicated, anything. Your dollar bill is a fungible token also. Notice the word, it doesn't say non-fungible, but it is a fungible token. It can be exchanged and divided, all those other different things. And so this is when we hear these things with non-fungible token and all these things. But again, the natural resources, processes, and this is what they're talking about now, about this whole green and carbonization. If we digitize the economy, then we can have real management of assets. Data will control this whole new carbon economy, something the government is anti-against. So even when we begin to talk about this FTX and this new carbon economy the government is talking about, these are the same rules, the same dynamics that goes into it. But again, we can fix the problem we're in by quickly adopting where we should have been 2 decades ago. But we cannot simply pick. See, if we come and repaint this house and say, look, there was the red house that swing you. This is a blue house now. See, we painted ours blue. It doesn't change what goes on in the house. And so what I'm simply saying is that if we have a conversation where they don't hide, remember now, let me just say this other thing. For you guys to understand who they are afraid of, don't ask you, I want you to notice who they censor. When people like me is not allowed to be heard, they don't argue against people they're not afraid of, They censor you to make sure that nobody hears you. And so I'm simply saying, there's not only me, there's others out there. So what you have to do is demand that it be fixed. And if it's fixed, and forget this other political party, every Bahamian will be a real millionaire. Because you will have the digitization and the tokenization, and you'll be able to have the assets that nobody can take away from you. You'd have to surrender. And I'm simply saying this, the world is going digital. But and like the person said, the Bible is being fulfilled. Believe it or not, there's a whole show on the coming of Christ, because y'all got that wrong too. That's one thing we got wrong. Christians, digital, and everything else. But I'm simply saying this, these things is not the coming of Christ. However, these things is signs and wonders of the coming.
Precursor.
Right. So I'm simply saying
Time gone.
But let me just say this 60 seconds.
Quickly.
We can fix this problem that FTX created, but we cannot fix it with the same mindset that allowed this environment to be created. Let's digitize, have a real dare bill that is actually digital, and let's put the support infrastructure, anti-corruption, freedom of information, all these things. Let's put them all together in the compendium of bills, and then apologize to the world and say, see, we fix it now, and then we can challenge the U.S. to say ours is better than yours.
Okay, that's it. Gotta go. Thank you, C. Allen, as always, for being here today and helping us to shed some light on what can be a very confusing topic. But time is gone, folks. It's like a couple of seconds to 4 o'clock. I got to get out of here. So tomorrow, open line show, TGIF, whatever is on your mind, time to get it off your chest. Until then, I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thanks so much for joining us, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are